Welcome back to another episode of Brand's Bites, bringing you bite-sized insights into the latest gadgets all the way to the newest news of the day for tech. Starting with Adobe's Lightroom new AI feature will make photographers want to shoot in the dark more. This is the best denoise software I have ever seen by far. As you can see here, it takes this grainy disaster of an image. Not like it's not too bad overall, but there's a lot of grain. If you don't like grain, you're not gonna like that image. And man, does it clean that up and does a good job of not seeming like super over smooth. Some of it seems a little over smooth through here, and the hair. There's still some detail loss, but it looks pretty awesome. Now this came out Tuesday night into Lightroom, and it's awesome to see AI software coming to other things. Now again, they're calling it AI software, but I don't know. It's not. I don't know if I would call it AI software necessarily. AI, it's machine learning software, but it's cool. It's here. It's cool. These bird images here was able to cut down noise while preserving details in this bird's plumage, the hair here. You can see how much smoother and kind of grainy it looks on the left, and how much better it looks over on the right after it's been processed. It's a pretty big increase here. Now Topaz Denoise has the newer photo AI from Topaz Labs, and it's a little bit better. It's just be honest, it's a little bit better. Google and AI computation, therapy, just AI photography is here. It's AI is everywhere now, just like that. It's growing, it's getting better. Lightroom's added it, and we're expecting to see more and more of that. Now the denoise tool has some limitations. It only works with raw images, though JPEG support is in the works. And it doesn't yet support all cameras, including raw shots from Apple iPhones, Samsungs, and my Pixel 7 Pro images worked though. Now, there's a pretty big difference here on this bird as well. You can just see how well it cleans that up and manages to keep good detail yet. Now, another caveat here is the denoise tool creates a new DNG image that is because it's creating another layer of pixel detail here. Now, that's kind of different for people that use Lightroom because you can create copies and be able to undo everything. Now, this is not a reversible change like most of what you can do in Lightroom's non-destructible process. But yeah, I mean, this is sweet. Lightroom's getting a ton of new updates. Adobe with this AI stuff is going to maybe make their software worth the subscription again. Maybe. That's a big maybe. But if other software start adding it as well that are just one-time payments, it's going to be just a kind of big of a letdown here. Next is a new Minecraft mod that will allow you to be able to chat with AI mobs in the game using ChatGPT. So, as you can see, there's an axolotl here that he is having a chat with in the chat, and this is an add-on called AI Mobs, which will allow you to conversationally be able to talk to endermen, creepers, sheep, villager, cow, or anything living or undead. Then it will tell you specific things about itself. For example, an iron golem told me that it's not actually a robot, but a magical creature. You can also ask it for more generic Minecraft or non-Minecraft questions, and the mobs will give you the answer. Keep in mind, though, that you only get to chat. Asking mob to help you with a task will not work, but it'll be able to give you advice. So he asked the axolotl for some advice to the netherite, and told him I could find some in the nether. If you don't want to chat to mobs, but do want to chat GPT on Minecraft chat function, there's another mod called MC Chat GPT that provides this service. This is cool because it's starting to open up if these open world games can add things like this, but they're actually like, this is interactive, but not extremely. But if they were able to add things like maybe you can conversate with a mob, and depending on where you are in like the biome or in the nether, just as a Minecraft example here, it gives you different responses, or it's able to, based on where you are in the game or what you've chatted to before, kind of change your experience. That is technology that will be awesome to see at some point, when you can conversate with these bots, but it doesn't just give you kind of a generic path flow. One of the reasons I enjoyed Titanfall 2, the campaign, is because based on your responses, you got slightly different paths. I mean, you got to the same endpoints and starting points, but the path through the game was different depending on your answers. And that was a cool thing. Now, if it can generate that on its own in real time, that would be even like wilder. I mean, think of like a GTA style game that's open world, super realistic. Think how much more real that game gets if your conversations with characters are remembered. If, maybe you run over a character, that's remembered, and that character remembers if they didn't die. People know if things have died. It's updated. It's real time. This is a huge thing that could change games, and this is just somebody made an mod for Minecraft that does something kind of similar. This is just a stepping stone, though, and it's not a real part of the game, but if it ever did become a real part of the game, that would be absolutely amazing. Next up, I just have a quick thing on how much do you think it costs to run ChatGPT every day? In my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know, depends on how many like GPUs and stuff they got running, right? Like it could be easily tens of millions a day to run it. I could see that, how big of an AI software it would be. You could see it taking a lot of power. You could also be like, maybe it runs fairly smooth. I mean, it gives real-time updates to the people using it pretty quickly. Maybe it doesn't cost that much. Maybe it's only a few 100,000. Well, what we have here is how much cash they really burn through at OpenAI, and they're paying up to 700,000 a day to keep its beefy infrastructure running. This is based on figures from the research firm Semi-Analysis. Now, this cost is based around the expensive servers they have to run, the energy consumption of those things. I mean, that's a lot of power to run these things and servers that you need. And as they keep selling out to more companies, they're gonna need more and more of those servers. I mean, $700,000 a day is a lot. Now this would be super remarkable, but you got to remember that there's a lot of companies lagging behind here, so they are kind of the number one in this industry for this at this time. But it's awesome. I can't believe that it really costs that much, but it does, and I guess that's just what you have to pay to run something like this. Now, those were based on ChatGPT 3 estimates and the now free version of ChatGPT. GPT-4 would probably cost more to run. I would probably peg it around $1 million based on that estimate, but who really knows? I mean, this stuff is growing so fast and technology is getting so efficient. Like, what do you really need to run something like this? But that's what it costs them, 700K. I mean, that's a lot of Ks. Now we have this. I'm a couple days late on this one. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys, but this is a early gameplay trailer for a video game called Unrecord. Now the game is a body cam FPS like shooter game, and it's supposed to be hyper realistic. Now, if you didn't know that this video that I'm playing right now was AI generated and like part of the game, like you would think this wasn't a game. Like this looks like if someone were to show you like real life of them exploring an urban place, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's probably what it looks like." Nothing really tips you off here that this isn't real, except for when that guy runs by. Now that we're doing this kind of chase scene here, like yeah, it looks a little less real, but nonetheless, this is crazy realistic. I mean, this footage isn't real. It should not exist, but it does. And this is just, I mean, look how realistic that looks. Just the room looks so like you could really be there. Like if this comes to VR especially, just imagine how wild that would really be. I mean, it looks real. Like you couldn't tell me this is fake. I wouldn't believe you. And you can see just clearing corners. I mean, if you wanted to make a Tom Clancy like Rainbow Six Siege shooter and do it real, I mean, there's no better realism than this. I mean, this is real destruction, real shooting. This is just crazy footage to look at. As you can see here, I mean, this can make a really fun game to play. You got throwing things, flashbangs, guns, running. Yeah, I mean, this is a game that if it comes to VR is going to be incredible to play. I mean, look at the realism here. I mean, you feel like you could pick up that stuff. Like if you told me this was shot on GoPro, I'd be like, all right, I believe you. I mean, maybe it was. Maybe they mapped a bunch of buildings like this, and that's really how they're doing a lot of this. But you can catch a little bit of fakeism here every once in a while when you get reflections on things. But damn, I mean, if you weren't looking for it, holy crap. Now, this game is due to be coming later this year on Steam. believe later this year. Hopefully, I didn't just lie. Now, here's another game that's doing this as well, and it's a horror game. You must find your lost dog in a pitch black forest. I mean, this looks super real too. I'm gonna get jump scared. They're in this house now, looking around. I mean, a little less realistic because it's more of a horror game, but I mean, it looks way better than any other game you play right now. That being just absolutely wild what Unreal Engine 5 is capable of here. And I mean, I'd love to play this game just with how good it looks. I don't know what it's going to cost, but just with how good it looks, I'd love to play this. So wild what we're becoming capable of making now in today's world with stuff like that. Now, if you remember, a few weeks ago we covered Snapchat was going to be adding ChatGPT in a version of kind of a conversational AI in their app. And people were just going to be able to interact with it, ask for help in conversations, like, what should I say back to this person who said this? I think this. What's a nice way to do that? Stuff like that was kind of what it was geared towards. Now, what's ended up happening is I think it's scared a lot of people, and people just aren't interested in how it was implemented into the app, because Snapchat has seen a massive spike in 1-star reviews as users pan the My AI feature, calling for its removal. People want this gone, which is fascinating because Snapchat's one of the few platforms that, like, if you add somebody to your friends list and you have location on, they can see where you are. Like, it obviously doesn't say the exact address, but it's damn close enough to figure it out if you really wanted to. And this just is, it's interesting to see backlash on this when you haven't seen that many people be upset about AI, but this is the first time that you're seeing people like not like revolt against it, I guess. And it's on Snapchat, who arguably does a lot of AI features with their filters and stuff and collects a lot of user data. I mean, there's just Snapchat does so many things that are just not great, and this is a weird thing to see happen now. Over the past weeks, the US App Store average review for Snapchat was 1.67, with 75% of reviews being a 1-star. Now, for a comparison here, across Q1 of 2023, their average US App Store review was 3.05, with only 35% being 1-stars. Now, the number of daily reviews has also increased over 5 times over the past week. The AI has been out for about past a week, so it seems kind of correlative that might be why this is occurring. Now, this is, again, it's weird to see this as the one place where people are getting upset about having an AI in there. Might be with just how they added it, where it was at the top, it was big, it was in your face, it was kind of like, use me, use me, use me. That might be where it went kind of wrong here. Now, companies are weighing how to figure out what to do with AI. How do they implement it in their apps? Is it worth putting in everything? Should they put it in everything? But no one really knows. Now, you can't unpin it from the top of your app. It can't be blocked or removed, which I think is probably the biggest problem here. I don't think it's necessarily that they added it. I think it's the way that they did so. Now, this is just interesting to watch what people draw the line on. Because again, we're seeing this added to like Bing Chat. We know AI is all around us. We know AI is tweeting things, writing a lot of articles. It's doing a lot of things like that we just accept and go with. But this is where people draw the line. When it's pinned to the top of their Snapchat feed, that's when it's like, I'm 1-star. I'm out of here. Not worth it. But I mean, it's weird. Snapchat has managed to stay ahead of all of tech and just kind of, they keep pushing the boundary, and they're one of the companies that tries to lead in just about everything. But this is just, I guess this ain't it. They're not interested here. Now, maybe it's because it's creepy how much data they're giving it access to. Maybe people didn't realize how much Snapchat was using user data. Just like this guy post here. What's my closest gas station is a Shell located about 5.5 from you. I have my Snapchat hidden from maps. I apologize for confusion. I don't have access to your location since you have it hidden. It looks like some of the back end might not be worked out because it clearly knows it's close, what's around this guy, but doesn't have access at the same time. Seems like Snapchat was a little unprepared. Seems like people were a little unprepared for how much information they really give away online. You don't think about it till it's thrown in your face that you give away your location all the time. You give away what you like all the time. You give away a lot of things about you all of the time. And I think what this AI is doing is maybe pointing out how well those controls really work. Now, parental controls were also not available at the time of Maya's public launch, and Snapchat has given no update on when those are expected. So, go Snapchat. Perfect. That's what people have been asking for forever, is an AI that takes over their life. Lastly, here we have Grimes, the Canadian artist. After the whole Drake thing, goes, nah, I don't have a label. We'll 50-50 split revenue if your song becomes successful, royalty split without penalty. You make a successful song using my voice, go ahead. I'll take part of the cut and we'll go with it. Now, this right now is probably the right way to do this. And the other issue with saying this is, what are people going to make with your voice? Because now you don't have control over that. Not that you did anyways. People are still going to make whatever they want to. That's part of the internet, is you can't lock everything down. People find a way around anything and everything. Now, this is just after Drake and The Weeknd, their label Universal Music Group, which represents both, called for the purge of the song, which generated over 15 million listens on TikTok and 600,000 on Spotify. Now, argued that publishing a song trained on its artists' voices was a breach of their agreements and a violation of copyright laws, which then you got to ask, is it really parody? Like, parody laws come in here somehow. How do you really do things? Now, Grimes is taking a wildly different approach and just straight up going, nah, you can use it. I don't really care. Like, well, she cares, but she's not going to be like that label was. A little bit different here, where Grimes is saying that up front, and then people are allowed to do it, versus Drake and The Weeknd was made and then was taken away. Different way of how those are interacting, but this is just so... It's a wild time to be a creator, where you have to be like, the one thing that you were born with, can't change, didn't create, just have, can just be taken and used freely on the internet. And some artists are going this way, some are going the other way. Now, again, just, this is going to start happening more and more. We're going to see more and more. Like, if you're Jack Black, for instance, and you're going to do a voiceover for a character for Disney, why would you rather want to show up if they can write all the lines and have the AI do like your voice for you, or like make up some of your things? Like, the AI can tell how you've voiced everything in the past. Go, this is how usually inflections like this or that, or would say this, or would change this, or this might be an idea he has, and spit out a bunch of different versions of this, script read out with like maybe some different words here and there, different inflections, blah, blah, blah. And then the company goes through at the end and goes, no, we like this one, we like this one, we like this one, throws together the whole movie. Jack Black's like, yeah, you just pay me like 50% for my voice, since it's mine, and then we're good. But where's the line there? Like, where, how do you know what to do with that when, like, again, people on the internet are going to do whatever they want with your voice? Obviously, it's not just voice. Video is pretty easy to do too, it turns out. And yeah, I mean, this is going to change how a lot of things are done. Voiceovers, again, big one. Movie acting, singing, songwriting seems to be going pretty quickly too here. Just a lot of big changes coming pretty quickly to stuff like this. Someone's honking a horn outside. Thank you very much, sir. With that, that is it for this episode of Brands Bites. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, let me know in the comments on YouTube, or let me know with a voice comment on Anchor, or if Spotify does that. One of these times I'm gonna have to actually look into that instead of just saying if Spotify does that. And with that, I'm gonna check out of the simulation for now, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.